Welcome everyone to our Destination Diaries. I call it ours because this is a baby we've thought about, this is a baby we've dreamt about, and today that baby is born. This Destination Diaries is all about journeys that tell different stories. If you haven't traveled before or you have traveled before, you definitely have a story. All the stories we'll be bringing out here today, we will be talking to different travelers from all over Africa and the world at large. But yeah, we're starting from Cameroon. And today, our major sponsor for this entire podcast is FL Tour and Events. And guess what? I am right here with the brain, the founder, the CEO, the chief executive officer. You know that moment when you start a company and you do everything by yourself? That's how she started, and she's grown to be a really, really big woman in the business. So buckle up, relax, because I'm bringing you all the juice. I'm Ruth Meteh, and you're in for a ride. Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you.
I'm tempted to call it ads. I really want to own it, but I said, let me just give this it to you, for all of this. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
How do you feel? This is your moment of glory.
I feel good.
Just good?
Great.
It's like a 9-month pregnancy that has been birthed.
You know, dreams are good. And sometimes when we are growing up, they really tell us like dreams are valid. But it gets to some points that you look at these dreams and it's like, it's not valid.
It's not coming.
People will even tell you some things. We are in Africa, like, who do you have?
Yeah.
And you're just like, are these dreams valid? But sometimes you just decide to try, because I can say everything I have done, I just decided to try. I didn't even know where it was going to end. And sometimes when I sit and see my dreams come to reality, I don't really have the words to put it, so that's why I just said it feels great.
I'm actually so emotional when I hear you talk about dreams. I can relate a lot on different bases. But even talking about traveling, you specialize in traveling. I don't even think that's what you studied in school. Do you want to take us down a little bit that road?
Okay. Yes, that's not what I studied in school. In short, when I got into the travel business, it was not even popular in Cameroon. I remember when I told people about it, and people were like, who travels? How much do Cameroonians earn before they can start going on vacations and the rest? But then that was my only option. I had tried everything. I'm a first child. I have siblings.
Alright.
I lost my dad, when I was in university level 2. And I watched my mom do a lot of things alone.
Right.
So as a first child, the highest thing in me was to work and assist my mom.
Your mom.
So immediately I left school, there was the fire.
You're like assistant mother in the house.
Exactly. So that fire, I was like, I will make it. I left, went to Yaoundé. I started looking for jobs. I started trying, to go to countries. I tried Canada, US, every country refused me. I tried Turkey, and Turkey denied me. But today I represent Turkey tourism.
Oh my God.
Nationally from Cameroon.
Kids class.
So that was just how it was. So it just got to a point that there was nothing.
Right.
That dark moment, you look in front, you have tried everything, and there's nothing. You look behind, you look at the sides, there's nothing. And my mom is like, come back home. I'm like, go back home empty. To where?
Can you imagine?
So in that period, I met somebody, and I'm really internally grateful to him.
Okay.
Because he changed my life without even knowing.
Wow. Okay.
I didn't have anything to do, so I met him, and he owned a travel and tours company.
Okay.
But there's travel, the travel business has travel politics too.
Okay.
If you're looking like you're planning to grow in positions,
right,
maybe heading the WTTC, the African, So he was into that. He didn't really have time to, to focus, talk to international partners and the rest. So he literally just gave me his company to run, because it's difficult to get into the travel business, because most travel people will not give you the international connects. I cannot do it.
Okay.
But since he was so busy, he gave me phone numbers, emails, everything. So I just knew how the inside of this business works. So when everything was blocked, a friend just advised me and be like, that thing you were doing, why don't you start it? The friend is abroad. She was like, I'm abroad. I've seen a lot of people, doing travels and is very successful. Why don't you just start it? And that's how I started without knowing anything, but I just started.
Wow. That's that's very inspirational. They say hunger can push people to think very amazing ideas. But in your case, I don't want to put it as hunger. I want to put it as the urge to do something different. You dare to do it and it's really working for you. Now we're not really going to be talking a lot about FL, tour, and event management business. You do things here and there. Today we're not talking about that much, but you're definitely coming back to that. We're talking about destination diaries. We're talking about traveling. How did you come about destination diaries as the brain, the idea, the vision bearer? How was it born?
Okay, I think one day we were in the office and we didn't have work and we're chatting. We're planning for 2026 and we're thinking of marketing strategies, to reach a wider audience. In short, we're looking for ways to push ourselves harder because we felt like we are too comfortable at this level.
Yes.
And then I said, why don't we try travel podcast?
Yes.
And then we said, okay, let's Google. And we Google, we didn't find any. Yeah, so we're just like, there's a lot of misconceptions about travel in general. There's a lot of rubbish we hear and we are like, where do people even come out with
all of these?
Yeah, so I was like, okay, we can start a travel podcast that will actually educate people on what travel is, not what travel has been made to look like. So that's where the whole concept of Destination Diaries came about.
Okay, before we dive into the question that we have for you today, I want us to take a this or that question. I know it's a small surprise for you, but I think I like it for you. So you have to answer without thinking. That's what it's all about. Solo travel or group travel?
Solo travel.
Luxury hotel or cozy Airbnb?
Luxury hotel.
Early morning flights or late night departures?
Early morning flights.
Plan itineraries or spontaneous adventure?
Planned itineraries.
Road trip or flight?
Road trips.
Okay, this one's going to be a little more touchy. Travel with music or travel in silence?
Travel in silence.
Why?
I don't like noise.
But it's music.
At all. I don't know. I don't just like noise.
So you're a sunrise watcher or sunset lover?
Sunrise.
Early morning people. I don't envy you. Take the risks or play it safe.
Take the risks.
I guess that's what has made you come this far.
I don't know. I just like to see. Let me try and see what will happen.
How many countries have you visited so far?
16, I think.
Which has been your favorite?
Egypt.
You've gone to Egypt like, if I'm counting very well, 4 times.
I am even tempted to go again. Egypt is one country that blew my mind. I even feel it's underrated.
Okay.
Because it's like everything in general. Hurghada is like the Maldives. Luxor is like Cappadocia in Turkey. So it just gives every vibe as well. And when you go there every time, in short, the vibe I love is
just special.
Just special. So it's one country, excuse me, that really made me to like travel. And one country that I really always love to go there.
Wow. For me, oh God, when I hear you talk about traveling, I'm like, God, when? But severally I've attempted to travel and I've always had this difficulty. There's a lot going on the social media with respect to the person not wrong my money, this person has stolen from me, this person has done that. What do you even have as reaction when you hear all of these things, considering it reflects on your business?
The travel industry really has a bad image. But I think it's not directly sometimes the travel agents or the people in the business. I think it's even the clients outside.
Okay.
Sometimes desperation push you. You don't even think. We are living in the age that the internet has every information. So sometimes you can just research. Number one, nobody should promise you a visa to any country. No one has that power. I will always say it and I will always tell clients.
Okay.
A consular is the only person that has a right, in which is not even certain because sometimes they give you a visa and you get sent back to another country. So no agent has any right, to promise you a visa. Yeah, and then sometimes there are also some things that happen in the travel business because sometimes the travel business is very spontaneous, especially when it does with, like for example, Tanzania just had a recent shaking.
Yes.
Yeah, so sometimes somebody may pay money to visit a country and the shaking may just erupt and the person cannot. So people just become very agitated and carry the wrong news. But I will not refuse the fact that really there is a lot of nonsense I believe that really has to stop happening in the travel industry, especially in Africa. Most of these crazy things happen just here because we don't have no regulation.
Right.
Let me say regulation bodies looking into it. Everybody is just doing anyhow. Everybody just owns a travel business. And since people are desperate, the plight on that,
Right.
many Africans are desperate to just leave Africa. So they are looking for every means. There are stories I've heard and I'm like, this is wickedness. Somebody who told me that a travel agent told her they sold their family house and told her that when she goes to Cyprus, a train is going to take her to Europe. That's a lie.
Oh my God.
And when you hear stories like that, it's wickedness of the highest form. Because I'm like, how can you even do this to somebody? And she went there, it was not like that. She came back with nothing. These people sold their family house. So there's a lot of crazy things, but majority of those things happen really in Africa. And I think because most of the times Africans are just so desperate to travel.
Are you going to blame us? Look at the economy.
Yeah, I know we'll not blame people, but I just think people should be more informed before getting into something, before even giving people your money. Research about it. The country is difficult, so even the money is difficult. Research, get information. There's the internet, there's everything. Countries have website, government website. Read about these things before you engage with anybody, and let nobody promise you that I can give you a visa today. I think that's the first thing I always tell people: don't even buy that. That thing idea at all.
Now we want to ask you, our main topic, the main concern we have today, I'm going to enlighten us is travel isn't expensive. It's more about planning. I think that's one of the things you go by. You make people understand. So first off, does booking a travel agent really saves cost or it's just a myth?
Booking with a travel agent. Well, God, I've laughed. Can this part be cut?
Why?
Well, okay. Booking with a travel agent absolutely it saves costs. It saves costs. It saves unnecessary expenditure. It's just that most at times people get it all wrong.
All right.
The way people expect, to get the prices, the way people expect to save the cost is not actually like that. But yes, of course, booking the travel agent actually saves cost. It also helps you to even avoid the next unnecessary expenditures.
Right.
You can be thinking like, okay, I'm going to book my trip myself, so I save maybe $10, $30. By the end, you may end up losing like $300 to many mishaps that a travel agent, a good one, will help you avoid. Travel agents have direct access to the industry.
Right.
That's the airline, the hotels. So they communicate with these people directly.
Yes.
It's not like there's a middleman, excuse me, rather, or just, and all that. So there are many things that a good travel expert can actually avoid, many I don't know how to place.
I think I want to hit hard on a good travel expert.
Yes, a good travel expert. Because these days, everybody's getting into the travel business without really understanding how it functions. So it is a lot of unnecessary expenditures. This to even manage your budget,
Right.
that a good travel expert can help you. And they're not only about cost, because sometimes people focus about cost, but I used to wonder even about security.
Exactly.
Because I feel that I even worry for people who always say that, I'll just plan my trip and get to that country like that. Even in my country, I feel safe or unsafe sometimes.
Right.
Then how can you just go into to somebody's country?
Here.
There's a lot in the travel business that is hidden.
Okay.
Because the travel business has a lot of glamorous marketing.
Right.
So there are a lot of stories that just the insiders know that they don't tell you.
I think I want to take you to another point. You talk about glamorous marketing. So I want to ask, is this traveling business, is it really lucrative or is it just a camouflage? Is it about the glams and the leads or money? It actually has money coming from there.
Okay, I'll say that is the travel business lucrative? Or let me just say it's just a myth. It's a myth. The travel business is not that lucrative. But then it is a myth that exists. Now, like I was just saying, there's a lot of glamorous marketing in the travel business. That's why you see even many travel agencies, when they want to market the business, they always show the luxury side. So many people are flooding into the industry because they think there is enough money there. When you see that outward things, without actually understanding how the dynamics of how the travel industry functions. The travel industry is lucrative only for people who understand these two things: skill and specialization.
Okay.
Now, the profits a travel industry, a travel agent, an airline, a hotel make per passenger is very thin that you even imagine. Sometimes you sell a ticket and the profit per person is 5,000. Now, but how do travel agents sustain the business? How do they make it lucrative? Because you say, okay, if the travel industry is this low, how do they now? This is the scale. Like I told you, you need to understand two things: skill and specialization. You need to understand the structure, volumes, upselling, low season, high seasons. Because in the travel business, there are low seasons and high seasons. Okay. There are seasons, different countries have different low, high seasons where people travel a lot and all that. You need to understand how you place your prices according to this system. You also need to work with volume. Now, when a larger number of people are traveling, the profit is more. So you need to understand how the structure of a travel business actually functions. And now going to specialization, that's where there's actually profit. Okay. What is specialization? Luxury travel. Let's say African safari, destination events. That's where there's actually money in the travel business. Nice. In every business, if you want to, make profits from it, you need to be offering a particular service to a particular kind of people. And now this is the specialization, because the people who go for this service are going for value, not quantity. So they are going for a particular kind of service. So this is where you can actually make money. So many people just rush into travel business because they see the way it is. They have not understood the dynamics. And you see, when they enter, they notice like, there's no money. Only in Cameroon, every day we see new traveling companies and they are out because they don't really understand how the structure works. So when they get into it, it's like, it's as if there's not really money in this business, like I thought, and then the next minute they are out. But then if you understand these two things I just said, skill and specialization, the travel industry is one of the best industries to be in.
I already told you guys we will be educating you on traveling. I hope you have your pen and your paper because it's just getting started right here. Okay, tell us, do you think that traveling, what most influencers post as traveling flex, do you actually think that it's fake, or they're just really misleading people, or it's real at some point?
I really don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
Because that's one of the highest mishaps we are facing in the travel industry. You hear a lot of people telling you, I cannot travel because I don't have enough money for dresses.
I mean, I'm one of those people.
It's not a fashion show. The internet and all this show off has destroyed the travel business. There are people who are really traveling and creating memories without showing anybody. But now Wo's travel is more luxurious than Wo. People will get to you and tell you, my friend went to this country. She was in this hotel. So book me this country. I want a better hotel. Now, when travel for you is not all about exploring and making memories, you will never enjoy it. That's why you see a lot of people have been to a lot of countries and they really don't have depth about it because it was just to show off.
Yeah, but I'm not trying to cut you off, right? I'm not trying to stop you from talking. I'm sorry, but if I want to go somewhere new, I want to have new clothes for the new environment.
But it is not a priority.
Maybe what about season?
No, you can have new clothes, but it's not a priority. Like I need to. Some people be like, I need to change 5 dresses a day. Travel is not a fashion show. And also, another thing influencers post is travel must be luxury. Travel must not be luxury.
That's
If the money you can afford is an economy ticket, fine. You can afford a good classic average hotel, good. You don't need to go to all the luxury places, do the luxury shoppings. You can try different meals, go out, meet the locals in the places, and you will have exceedingly good memories. There's a lot of, I don't know how to say it's fakery in the travel. And I used to wonder because, they said travel is about creating memories.
Yeah.
There'll come a time in our lives that nothing will matter. It's the memories we created when we're alive. So I used to wonder, if you're doing these fake memories, how do you look at yourself after so many years and see like, this thing that you was not even right? Because there's a lot of crazy pressure that has been put on people, and it has made the travel industry a whole mess. You see some influencers get into a plane, snap picture in the business class ticket, fly the economy ticket. You see somebody who go to a country, book a cheaper hotel, go to an expensive hotel, the restaurant, take pictures, post as if all those pressures are not necessary. You can have a little budget and you will really still enjoy it. That's one of the things that we are really trying to educate people. Your travel must not be luxury. You're not going for a fashion show. You're making memories. You're trying to explore the world. Yes. And the world is actually very beautiful. advise anybody that if there is something you should put at the top priority of your list is to travel. The world is such a beautiful place.
I really do understand that influencers have made this thing to look like if you don't have $1 million in your account, you shouldn't go to any country.
Exactly.
But I think with you now educating us about traveling and maybe even on the budget, it's giving me rest, and I'm sure those who are viewing,
Yeah, you must not.
giving rest.
Different countries come with different costs.
Okay.
With 500,000, you can travel to Rwanda. So why do you travel? Why do you think of traveling to the Maldives? Because everybody's traveling to the Maldives when your budget can afford Rwanda. That's the whole problem we're having with this influencing and following trend thing.
Right.
You're not traveling because somebody traveled. You're traveling because you want to make memories. That's what we are trying to cut off. The whole idea and mentality. Go with the countries that fit your budget.
Fit your budget.
Also, you can also check seasons. There are countries that are very cheaper. For example, if you want to travel to Dubai, it's very good if you don't have enough budget and maybe you're not allergic to heavy sun, because
Right.
you can travel between June to August because it's very affordable. So these are the things that you can know, and that's why it's very good to get a very good travel agency, because those are the kind of things that your travel agency is going to tell you. Maybe book your flight tickets early to get affordable flight. Look at season, travel during low seasons, go to countries that match your budget. It's not influencing countries, because now
Right.
everybody's going to Zanzibar, so you want to go to Zanzibar. Everybody's going to the Maldives, you want to go to the Maldives. Everybody's going to Mexico, you want to go to Mexico. If that's not your budget, go to the countries in which your budgets are okay for.
That makes a lot of sense. It's very relatable with so many people, because we really don't really get to know the seasons we should leave town and all of that. But what's the best kept secret destination that you are almost scared to reveal because it will get ruined? That things that's so precious, you're keeping it in your heart. What's that best secret destination for you?
There's this country in Europe, very beautiful, quiet. Many people don't know about it. I don't know if I get the name very right. I think it's Liechtenstein, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I personally, I'm just praying, like, let a lot of people not discover this country and ruin it for us, especially influencers and their crazy things. But it's a very beautiful place, quiet, landscape, very beautiful destination. I actually hope that many people don't discover it.
You already spilled, so definitely we are discovering it come this year. So okay, which travel trend needs to end? Like end now.
I've already spoken about it. The fakery is not necessary.
It should end today.
You cannot afford to fly business class. Flying economy is fine.
Don't fake.
I really don't understand the obsession. You snap a picture in the business class and you fly in the economy. Is crazy to me. Those things need to end. It's okay to be sleeping in an affordable hotel. It's your memory.
It's so
You're creating it for yourself, not for another person. So all those things take a picture in the business class, you fly.
And
all those
the crazy thing about
this
is most of these influencers are millennials. They're not even the Gen Zs that we talk about crazy all the time. The millennials are crazy. They just want to go and see.
I just think it's the pressure that comes with social media. That's it. Not everybody's taking business class tickets. So you're looking at yourself like you traveling economy. You are traveling, you're creating your memories for yourself. That's what you can afford, and it's fine.
So tell me the common mistakes. No, give me one common mistake that travelers make when booking vacation.
No booking with a travel agent. Look, it's girl. For me, that's just as simple as that.
Okay. All right.
Because like I was saying, there's a lot of things about travel that people don't know, but your agent can help you to avoid.
Makes sense.
For me, the highest thing is even your security. Crazy things have happened in travel, but we don't talk about
the experience, like a story to link to.
Yeah, because I know of somebody who got to us for a vacation to a country, and then we gave her the price, and then she's like, no, she's going to book herself. She's going to go to booking.com and all that, and we're like, fine. And then I remember this night I slept, and she called and she was crying. I was like, what's happened? And she said she got raped.
Oh my God.
Yeah, somebody got into her hotel room. She doesn't know what happened, and now that's why I said it's always good to get a good travel agent, because one thing is that we know the stories that you don't know. and we will help you avoid what you can not avoid on your own. Crazy things have happened. There was a story that happened in 2019 of an Uber driver in Europe who killed 36 tourists and harvested their organs. You cannot just go to a country that you don't know anybody and just trust everybody. And that's why even if you are getting an affordable hotel, it's always good to check the kind of hotel you're getting. You should not just sleep everywhere, especially Airbnbs. That's why Airbnbs are great, but I always talk about the security part of Airbnb.
That's right.
Because we heard of a story in Mexico in which a lady went for a birthday with her friends and they got her beaten on Airbnb and killed her.
Oh my God.
You know, if it's a hotel, it cannot happen.
No, it can't.
You make the slightest most of the times when we have couples who go on vacation and they fight, just the slightest noise, the hotel is calling us, your people are fighting, but those are the things. But Airbnb are great. I'm not saying you should not travel in an Airbnb, but you should just know these security things. And that's why it's very good to book with a vacation expert, a travel expert. They are really going to help you avoid some of these mishaps.
It's really mind blowing for me. All of this, it's educating me anew. It's unlearning and teaching me new things. If I can be learning about these things, I'm imagining those who are actually watching. So I'll just have a few more short questions for you. Answer without thinking, please. Okay. We're ending on a very happy note. So, which country wins the best passport?
Singapore.
Why?
The visa free to about 193 countries.
Which one has the lowest taxes?
Dubai.
Okay, best crypto country.
I think Paraguay. I don't know if I got that right.
That's all right. Those who are watching will tell you we got it right in the comment section. Definitely cheapest luxury life.
Bali, of course.
Okay.
$1,000, you live like a king.
What's your dream destination?
Saudi Arabia. Shebara Resort.
Hi, Avibi. What country made you fall in love with travel?
Egypt.
It is on this Egyptian note. We've been talking a lot about Egypt. I just feel like we have to end this on an Egyptian note. I wish I knew how to speak anything about Egypt. But guys, it was really an interesting time talking to you, Brandy. I really, really want to have you here again sometime out of your busy schedule.
Hopefully.
To give us more insight about traveling. And she's always ready to plan your trips. If you have a wedding, you want to do it out of the country, destination weddings, destination Thanksgiving events, any of your choice, you can always get to Brandy and she got you covered. Ladies and gentlemen, it's on this note we say goodbye for this particular episode. It is proudly sponsored by FL Tour and Events. And in case you want to be a sponsor, you will be waiting for a DM. Do not forget to like, subscribe, hit on the notification bell so you get notified each time we drop new content. Also, make sure to share a comment. Tell us the topics you want us to talk about subsequently. If you have questions, drop it in the comment sections. We're going to answer you. I am Ruth Meteh signing out. Love you so much and see you on the next episode.